right, my time says 11. If you have not already gone and added your name and library into the chat, please do that so I can give your library credit for attending today. Um, Welcome and almost Happy New Year. I mean, Happy Thanksgiving. I wish it was Happy New Year. Kind of flipped through all of that busyness of Christmas. Um, but almost Happy Thanksgiving. Um, we're just going to jump right in and get going. Just want to encourage you to go ahead and complete that deleting expired um, patrons that have been expired for 3 years. Equinox has notified us that they are going to actually do the purge on January 5th. So technically, you could have up to January 4th, but I would definitely try to have that done by the end of December. Don't wait. I mean, Cass County did 2,400 something of them, and it didn't take me very long at all to get it done. So if you have questions or run into problems, don't hesitate to reach out. The instructions are updated and on the website if you need them. So, moving on, questions have arisen recently about why an item that you put a hold on, it's on an on order record. And then it goes to hopeless hold. So, what is happening? What is causing it to do that? So, an on order record is really a brief record. It's not the full cataloging record that you would see once the item is actually in hand. So what happens is once the item gets in hand, it goes ahead and gets cataloged all the way. And if that item has parts, that is what is bumping it now to hopeless because the original hold that you put on the on order item has no parts designated,
It was fine. It got this
if
is how
that
it
makes sense.
looked specifically coming here because all these pieces you can find in the
Um, so um, the the best thing to do would be just once you see that's on the hopeless holds, go back, replace a hold on that record. I would say it's a good idea to go back and edit that hold date, that hold request date, to the original date that the first hold was placed. So depending on how much lag time there is between when the on record, when the on order thing even appeared and when now that it goes to hopeless, it's totally fair to go back and reset that request date to the original date. So I don't know if that helps. I don't know. I think this is really just happening with those things that have parts on it, but just wanted to give a little bit of explanation for what is happening because several people have contacted me over the month saying, why has this happened? And so, um, yeah, just wanted to let you know kind of what's going on.
Can I chime in just for I believe
Sure.
the catalogers have also had a thread on their discussion list about trying to add parts as soon as an item is ordered to try to help us avoid this. So if you have a cataloger colleague and you think you can drop this bug in their ear, then that might help us to just avoid the situation in the first place. It is hard because you don't always know which items are going to need parts, but sometimes you can tell, if it's a series.
Right, you should watch them because they're so helpful.
So I think the catalogers are trying to I think the catalogers are trying to help us as well.
Yeah. And I spoke with Sarah Llewellyn, who is the cataloging chairman. She sits right beside me at the office. So she has put it on the agenda for their next meeting. But like Heather just said, some things you're going to be able to do that, put parts on, and some you're waiting until you really know what you've got before you catalog it completely. So,
We just discussed this, and I already said something to our cataloger because I had emailed Dale about this, and it's something about monograph parts, and I'm like, I'm not a cataloger, so that went right over my head. But I was like, cool, he fixed it for us. But complete set is a part.
Yes.
So I think that's what was confusing a lot of at least my branch managers. I was like that you have to select complete set even though it's already selected. Does that make sense? Like whenever you get to the holds page. So
I'm
anyways,
just going to say parts in Evergreen is confusing. And-
Dale did tell me there's going to be an update this next in February that's supposed to fix the problem, so fingers crossed.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. That would be great. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, wanted to talk about we've had some issues again this month with items being taped. So please do not tape somebody else's items. If you want to attach an item condition report, um, the only tape you should be using is that Scotch removable tape, which has been approved, unless you are the owning library. If you want to put something in there so that people don't have to keep, you know, marking your well used, but you want to keep in circulation book or item, if you want to have something in there from the owning library, you can tape however you want. But if it's not your item, please do not tape those even to the outside of somebody else's material. Use that Scotch removable tape. Darcy, does that deal with everything that you had happen?
I think so. It was just a random, it's just because we had so much after being closed where we had just a rash of stuff taped to pages, to books, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. I had a situation happen. I was training somebody at one of the branches. Somebody walked in, one of our patrons walked in, and they were just so proud of the fact that they had taped up somebody's audio-visual box. And it really did not matter that asked them, okay, if this ever happens again, please don't do that. Let us take care of that. Um, so I felt like, gosh, I need to send a note with with this item saying, okay, the library didn't do this. This was the patron who got a hold of it. So, but anyway. All right. Questions on tape. I feel like a broken record on that, just over and over again. All right. The circulation page, resource page on the website has been reworked and updated. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks kind of the same, but things have been renamed, and lots of new versions have gone in for the documents. So these are the documents that have been updated. So Circ policy, MEC circulation best practices, that's the old materials handling best practices document. Accounting for lost and damaged items, deleting expired patron accounts, finding shelf expired holds that are on somebody else's shelf, and hopeless holds. So quite a revamp of things have gone on. And all of those, just yesterday, I linked all those documents back with the MEC circulation procedure manual. So the things in the appendix at the end should take you to the correct updated document. All right. Um, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what's going on with the permission project. So in August, we presented the changes that we wanted to make for circulators and circulation administrators and asked people to test those things on the test server. The problem is nobody ever got back to me and said, oh, they work, or no, this didn't work as we anticipate. So I would like two or three libraries, maybe, to volunteer to officially do that, and then you would report back to me because I really do not want to make permission changes until we are sure that we're not messing something up and things are going to be better. So, I would really like somebody who already has circulators as one of their permission levels. If somebody who has that would volunteer, that would be very helpful. And it's just silence. I know. So it may be me calling you up and saying, would you please do this? Because we cannot move forward. The executive board does not want to move forward, and I am in full agreement on that. We don't want to move forward until we know for sure that what we're getting is what we really want. So if you're willing to do this, would you put it in chat or else contact me, shoot me an email? Otherwise, I may be calling upon some of you to do this. I also just want to, you guys are getting the scoop before the membership does, but I just figured I can tell you because I know what's going on. So you can be a little bit more prepared. In December at the membership meeting, we're going to be talking about actually pulling the trigger on removing general staff permission level and non-circ permission level. I got a report yesterday from Equinox of everybody in the consortium who has that either as their primary or a secondary permission level. And so after we talk about it at the executive, at the membership meeting, I'm going to be sending that out to, I'm not sure if it's going to go to, probably to library directors so that they can make decisions on where they want to. Okay, do you want to change this account to Circ admin? Do you want to change this account to cataloging? How do you want your accounts to be done? And so that is coming quickly, but just a little heads up. Part of the reason that general staff is going away is we realized that in the process of evaluating these things, general staff have all the Circ admin things, they have quite a bit of the cataloging things, and they have quite a bit of the admin things all rolled into one. And many libraries did not realize that, okay, if you give your person that particular permission group, they have this plethora of things that they're able to do. So the executive board is hoping that we can move things permission levels to where it more accurately represents what the person is doing instead of just let's give you everything. And it's really not everything, but it is quite a smorgasbord of things. And since the cataloging committee is trying to get, with the going through and getting levels of cataloging, they wanted to make sure that your cataloging permissions lined up with the training that you had already gone through, as opposed to just having blanket cataloging permissions. So there you go. It's coming. It probably won't, it definitely will not happen until the new year, in the new year sometime, but those things have to be done before we can change the Circ permissions. So, little heads up, it's coming. So, the CAN committee has requested some feedback on the placement of circulation policies in local administration. So if you have admin permissions and you are somebody who goes into local admin or server admin or those kinds of things. They really want some feedback on this. So they want more information about how, in particular, how circulation policies, which you find under local administration, are being used. Are we making is our library making our own changes, or are we sending those things to Equinox? Part of the reason that they are looking at this is because they are working on the admin procedure manual. I've seen I don't know if it's the finished version, but I've seen a version, haven't had all the time to make it all the way through it. But their question came because a lot of the other things that you need to have to make changes to Circ are found in the server, on the server side, as opposed to the local side. So I'm interested in hearing how your library uses that particular part of local administration. Well, let me ask you this. If you are the one who would be making changes, do you typically go straight to Equinox and say, this is what I want, help me get there? Or does your library do it on their own?
For the MLC, I tend to make the changes, but the policies are extensive, and sometimes there's settings that I don't actually understand. So I'm more likely to submit a question about what something does, and then try to make the change and tweak it myself.
Yeah, the
Okay, so-
editor I feel fairly confident with when searching for something, and like billing types and whatnot. But sometimes it doesn't allow me to do stuff, and I have to ask Equinox, and then they have to go in and work their magic. But I like to go through those on a Friday afternoon when I don't want to work on something. I run through that stuff, and then some of it I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. So.
So it sounds like there's perhaps a fair number of people who would prefer that at least stays in local administration, as opposed to because their question was, well, all these other, I mean, like circulation duration rules, circulation limit groups, circulation match point weights, max fine rules, modifiers, all of those are in that server on that server side. So their question is, should we just move this over there? But if a lot of people are using it and then as they need help from Equinox, um, appealing to them, it sounds like it might be a good idea to leave them as they are. So committee, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I go as far as I can go, and then I get Equinox. Most often, I end up with Equinox, to be honest.
I do the same thing. Sometimes I'll even ask Chat GPT for help before I go to Equinox to see, because other Evergreen consortia may have figured it out, or it may be out there for me to figure it out myself.
Yeah, so my thought is, do we want to kind of have a guideline that if you have a question and are not familiar with it, maybe you post something on listserv, see if there's feedback. Then if you're still uncomfortable, then you go to Equinox before making any changes. Because I know with some things, like Heather was saying, can be kind of complicated. You may not fully understand the ramifications of making a change, especially when it comes to holds, with our complexity with the holds. I think that's the main thing that no one wants to mess with.
Well, and I feel like people do that for the most part, but
Right.
it is the frequent flyers. I feel like I wonder what some libraries I've never seen on the listserv. I wonder what's happening there. Do they not even know that they can ask Equinox for help? Do they not know to come to the list to ask for help? I don't
Right.
know.
And I think that's kind of the point of what we're trying to do with the local admin manual is for the new ones or the small locations that don't make a lot of changes or haven't had a chance to make a lot of changes to have something to kind of pull from as far as like, where do I even start?
Yeah. Yeah. It's complicated.
I definitely think it's been a long time coming, but I think it will be beneficial. Just so many libraries, the turnover um, happens, and then the person who did know how to do it is no longer there, and you've lost that institutional knowledge. And so I am hopeful that this administrative procedure manual will be a better maybe resource than, I mean, I don't know. I've tried reading through all of the equinox things, and it's like, okay, but I don't know what that is. But I don't know what that is.
Yeah, yeah.
What that
No,
is.
for
So,
sure.
anyway,
Well, I just think I think our onboarding and all of our mentor and all that stuff we do at the beginning has got to enforce the listserv. These are your friends. These are your people who have walked the path and in somebody out there is going through what you're going through. And if they can get confidence in that, then they start going to Equinox, when they need further help. But I really think not knowing to use listserv is that we gotta help them know that and can solve a lot of these problems. I don't know. It took me a while to learn that. I didn't understand because I'd never had anything like that before in Horizon. It was phew, you, text support was ugh.
people from Ozark Regional, who is our newest library coming into the consortium, they're saying it would have been very helpful because you just don't always know. Is this something that I can do or should do, or do I need to get Equinox involved in this? And so I'm hopeful that I don't know where they're going to put this or post this eventually, but I hope it's available for more than just system admin people. So,
Right.
Leanne,
I
do you
think the
know?
plan is to have it available on the website as, like the Circ manuals.
Yay, that would make me happy.
Hey, I have a question, Rhonda.
Yeah.
So I am a cataloger, and in order to be a cataloger in Evergreen, I have to complete certifications, recertifications, et cetera, et cetera. Have we slash they thought about like people who want these permissions maybe have to maybe be able to show some understanding of these permissions? You know what I mean? Like if you want to be able to go in and make changes, you can request the permission and then just somehow show that you're not going to go in and like cancel the consortium's hold or something. I didn't know if, and I don't want to create like, I don't think we need to create training necessarily or certifications, but just, um, maybe they talk to Equinox, maybe they talk to onboarding, maybe they talk to someone to say, hey, I would like these permissions. Here's why. Here's my understanding of them. I don't know if that's feasible, helpful.
Well, we can ask. I'm not sure. Again, just because of staff turnover, I think some of that might be tricky. And, often this is going to be a system admin or local admin person who's making those changes. But I can ask. Anything else along with this topic? Okay. Um, we are blowing through this fast. Yay. Almost holiday time. The December Circulation Committee meeting is canceled. I already have Christmas plans for then. So our next meeting is going to be January 27th, in 2026. Can you believe it? So, anything else that somebody would like to bring to the committee's attention?
Rhonda, it's not necessarily something from the committee's attention. We've gotten a couple, so sorry, this is Popper Bluff. We have gotten a couple questions from libraries around the state. And I don't know that we ever announced it in the circulation committee because then we did it in the membership committee. General membership approved a pilot program for us to use art for Popper Bluff to put RFID tags into all libraries' books to see if it was feasible to do this across the state to make it easier for RFID libraries and also other libraries to become RFID. And that will continue through the spring, but we've gotten a couple questions about why are we doing that. So I wanted to bring that up to the circulation group, that is something that we have done, that the membership approved. And so right now, Popper Bluff is putting permanent tags into items that come into our library. And then that will be evaluated on whether or not that is helpful or will continue, and that will be in the spring. So I just wanted to bring that up because we've had a couple libraries contact us recently that weren't aware of this pilot program.
And part of that came about as we were looking at the cost of putting on a temporary tag and then taking off a temporary tag as opposed to putting on a permanent tag, which would potentially cause less damage to your item. And it would be available. They did tests to make sure that everybody's RFID would read everybody else's RFID. So this was kind of the pilot to figure out some of those things. So that's why it's going on. Thanks, Belinda. All right, anything else?
There's a question in the chat about auto log out we didn't talk about.
Oh, yes. I think Equinox, you guys sent in multiple examples of what was happening. And so from my understanding, they have kind of figured that out. Hopefully that will not be an ongoing issue. They did one idea that Colleen sent out that I think does have merit, though, apart from what Equinox has done with that issue, is they encouraged us to log out our computers at the end of the day instead of just kind of, letting it go dark. Go ahead and log out and then re-log back in. I see. So Raquel says it's still happening. So if it is, Heather, do you know what the status of that is?
I don't, but I was one of the people who submitted a ticket that day that they said, please stop submitting tickets.
Yes, yes.
So they said they're actively troubleshooting it. I know they tried one idea about increasing the number of people who could be logged in at one time, but I haven't heard anything since the second spray of tickets, so I'm not sure.
Cass County, we have just not experienced, I mean, very, very rarely we have not experienced. So thank you for that. But I'm sure it's very frustrating for those of you who have. And so hopefully they'll be able to get to the bottom of it and really get it consistently not happening. So, all right, anything else?
This is a little bit tangential, but the reports committee put together a survey. We're trying to get a sense of what kind of reports training people want. I put a link in chat. Anybody can respond. So please, we would love your input. If you have, it's a really quick survey, just a couple of minutes. So thank you.
I thought I saw something maybe come up on chat. Let me go over there and look at that real quick. Step-by-step instructions are available for the patron purge. It's under deleting expired patrons account. It's on the circulation resource pages of the website. It's also linked in the MEC Circulation Procedure Manual. So it's pretty, there's always one step that I forget to do, and it's like, okay, it didn't work. This is why. But it's really fairly easy. If you have questions, please call me or text or email. Okay, anything else? All right, well then, I'm going to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful few days off. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Rhonda. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.